The drizzle on the Manchester window pane mirrored the dull ache of guilt settling in Elara Thompson's, 22, chest. She wasn't a schoolgirl sneaking a forbidden puff. She was a graphic design student, a capable, self-sufficient adult who had willingly, desperately, entered into the Personal Health and Commitment Contract, PHCC, with her guardian and mentor, Mrs. Vivian Thompson, 48. The core tenet of the contract, signed 6 months prior, was simple: absolute abstinence from nicotine with zero tolerance for relapse. The penalty for violation? Immediate, unreserved submission to the agreed-upon physical correction using the designated implement, the smooth, weighty hickory paddle, as a powerful, non-harmful somatic anchor to the commitment. Elara had justified her lapse today not as rebellion, but as profound weakness. The stress of her final thesis had worn her down, and the hidden pack of premium Turkish golds, a souvenir from a friend's trip, had whispered its false comfort from the top drawer of her antique desk. She'd managed 2 full, shallow drags before the overwhelming sense of betrayal. Betrayal of her contract, betrayal of Vivian's trust, betrayal of her own health, had crashed down. She had inhaled the smoke. Now she was inhaling the consequence. The cigarette, already crushed, left a metallic, telltale scent clinging to the fabric of her cream-colored, long-sleeve shirt. She stood before the open window, the cool air doing nothing to quell the growing panic. She wasn't afraid of the paddle's sting. She was terrified of the look of profound, heart-wrenching disappointment that she knew would settle on Vivian's face. That disappointment was the true correction. The sound of the door creaking open, followed by the sudden, chilling silence, confirmed the inevitable. The contract had been breached. The penalty clause was now active. Vivian, standing in the doorway, a basket of freshly laundered linens in her hand. Her 48-year-old face, usually composed, was etched with instant comprehension and cold fury. Her blue eyes narrowed. Elara Rose Thompson dropped the cigarette. Now, and tell me honestly that the metallic stench of cheap smoke I smell in the very air of this room is not what I believe it to be. Elara, swiveling instantly, shoving the crushed remnant behind her back, her adult face flushing scarlet. Vivian, please. It was just one. I was trying to air it out. It's not what you think. Vivian. She walks deliberately into the room, sets the basket down with a quiet, decisive thud, and crosses the floor, taking the crushed tobacco from Elara's trembling hand. Don't insult my intelligence, Elara. You are 22 years old, not 12. You are a contracted participant in the PHCC. We both signed that document, witnessing and notarizing the zero-tolerance clause, which explicitly includes the immediate consequence for violation. What I think is that you deliberately and knowingly abrogated the terms of a solemn agreement regarding your long-term health. Elara, tears immediately spring to her eyes, not from fear, but from the weight of her failure. I know, Vivian. I'm so sorry. The stress, the thesis is killing me, and I just reached for it. It won't happen again. Vivian, folding her arms, her posture unyielding. She is wearing a simple, dark blue knitted dress and practical, comfortable flats. The image is one of solid, unmovable authority. I just reached for it. That phrase encapsulates the very weakness the PHCC was designed to excise from your behavior, Elara. We spent 3 weeks writing the PHCC preamble, Section B, detailing the legacy of addiction in our family, your grandfather's suffering. You saw my commitment. You swore your commitment. You looked me in the eyes last week and reaffirmed your success. And now, Elara, hanging her head, her auburn ponytail drooping. I lied. I've been keeping this pack hidden for 2 days. I know. I'm sorry. Vivian, sorry is an emotion, Elara. The PHCC requires actionable consequence. Do you know what the deepest breach of his contract is? Not the poison you put in your lungs. It's the poison of the lie you put into our trust. We established the system so that I could believe your commitment when you couldn't. You have broken that sacred trust. Vivian steps past Elara, her movements slow, purposeful, and weighted with finality. She retrieves a long, flat wooden paddle, the designated, pre-agreed-upon implement, from a high shelf in the hallway closet. It is smooth, polished hickory, heavy and uncompromising. Vivian, You are 22 years old. You are an adult who freely chose this path of accountability. If you are mature enough to sign a legal contract regarding your health, you are mature enough to face the agreed-upon consequences for violating that contract. Elara. She watches the paddle with wide, fearful eyes, the sight of the polished wood making her stomach clench. It had been nearly a year since the last minor PHCC infraction, and this one was catastrophic. Vivian, no. Please. Not the paddle. I'm two. Vivian. Her voice is calm but absolute. She uses the exact phrasing from the PHCC. PHCC Clause 9, Corrective Protocol. The protocol is non-negotiable, Elara. This consequence is not about retribution. It is a necessary physical re-anchoring of your consciousness to the gravity of your commitment. You will submit to the agreed-upon correction, designed to ensure this moment of betrayal becomes an indelible memory. Face the bed, Elara, and assume the position required by the PHCC appendix. Elara's face crumples. She knows there is no escape. The PHCC was her choice, her refuge against her own weak will. She walks slowly to the edge of her large, four-poster bed, her hands trembling as she leans over, gripping the thick duvet tightly. She is wearing dark, comfortable leggings and the cream-colored shirt, now wrinkled. Vivian. She approaches, her stance firm. She uses the moment for one last, searing statement. This sting is a physical manifestation of the shame you should feel for lying to the person you rely on and for betraying your own adult commitment to health. I am doing this because I love you, Elara, not in spite of it. The first strike of the hickory paddle rings out. A sharp, solid crack against the fabric of the leggings, immediately sending a searing heat across Elara's adult backside. Elara gasps, jerking violently forward against her grip. Vivian. Her voice is steady, rhythmic, matching the stroke. 1. This is for the willful concealment of the cigarettes in your drawer. The paddle rises and descends swiftly again. Crack! Elara. A sharp cry escapes her lips. She bites her lower lip, fighting to suppress a full sob. Vivian, 2. This is for the lie you gave me last week when you swore you were clean. The third strike is focused and forceful. Crack! Vivian, 3. This is for your grandfather, Elara, and the memory of what this poison does. Tears begin to stream down Elara's face, muffled by the bed sheets. The heat is intense, but the shock of the sound and the betrayal of trust is what truly breaks her composure. Vivian. Protocol Stage 2, the indelible mark. I will administer 5 more, Elara, each one focused on rooting out this weakness. You will count them aloud, through your tears. You will not move. Elara. Gasping, trying to stabilize her voice. Yes, Vivian. The paddle strikes again. Smack! Elara. A strained whisper. 4. Smack! The sting overlaps the previous marks, concentrating the heat. Elara. A loud yelp. F5. Vivian allows no pause. Smack! Vivian. For the future you risked, Elara. Count. Elara. Sobbing uncontrollably now, her body trembling with the effort to remain still and count the mandatory tally. S6. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Smack. Smack. The final 2 strikes land with devastating finality, designed to be sharp, brief, and overwhelmingly comprehensive. Elara. Screaming the count into the duvet. 7. 8. Stop. I remember. I remember. The paddle is lowered. The silence returns, broken only by Elara's choked, heartbroken sobs. She remains bent over, trembling, her face buried in the bed, the shame and the somatic anchor firmly in place. Vivian. Setting the paddle down quietly and sitting beside Elara on the edge of the bed. Protocol Stage 3, Reflection and Restitution. You may straighten, Elara. Look at me. Elara slowly sits up, turning her tear-streaked, adult face toward her guardian. Her cheeks are scarlet with shame, and her breath hitches with residual sobs. Vivian. I don't enjoy this, Elara, but I love you too profoundly to watch you destroy yourself through weakness and lies. The PHCC exists because you asked for this level of accountability. Did this consequence remind you of the gravity of your commitment? Did it anchor the lesson deeper than any lecture could? Elara. Wiping her eyes with the back of her hand, her voice small and broken. Yes, Vivian. It worked. I feel I feel the failure. The cigarettes looked stupid. They aren't worth this. I won't do it again. I swear it. Vivian. A small, stern nod. Protocol Stage 4 restitution. Now, you will fetch every piece of that poison from your room. Every cigarette, every packet, every trace. You will bring them to me, and we will destroy them together. Then, we will rewrite the PHCC commitment clause to reflect the severity of this relapse. Elara slowly rises, limping slightly, her movement stiff, but her compliance absolute. She retrieves the hidden packet, and together they walk to the kitchen. The cigarettes are disposed of with a final, echoing thud in the rubbish bin. Vivian, this is not over, Elara. The physical lesson is complete. The psychological work now begins. Vivian, concluding the post-correction reflection and PHCC revision, this experience, Elara, is now permanently integrated into your memory. It is a harsh teacher, but a loving one. We rely on the physical consequence as a bridge, a powerful reminder until your own internal will become strong enough. The next time you feel the temptation, your body will reflexively recall this moment. Elara, leaning into Vivian, exhausted but settled, rubbing her still-hot backside. I know, Vivian. I won't betray the contract again. The cost is too high. Vivian, then you have truly learned the lesson. Now, consider this for your written review. When an adult, struggling with a self-destructive habit, signs a contract for physical consequence, what is the psychological calculus of submission, and how does that process contribute to the creation of long-term self-mastery?